Drones. Everywhere you go, drones. That's what's happening. That's all it is. It's all it is. And there's so many different theories, and nobody knows anything. And so many people that do have their own ideas. I can't even tell you. There's so many people that I've spoken to that said, I know for sure what this is. I know exactly what this is. I had a text yesterday from a friend that said the nuke thing it's real. I talked to my friend and it's real. And then you get Ryan Graves saying, I've talked to people inside who say this is not the case at all. They are not searching for nukes. And then there's just so much. And then the Biden administration is saying gibberish. There's other people who are basically trying to call them out in general, saying, hey, what's the deal here? You got to let something out there. And then I got a message yesterday from somebody who had an interesting, he says not theory, he says fact. I can't call anything fact. Well, so I got Attack Peter on the show with me today, so we're going to kind of go over some of these things and pitch the potential idea of what these things could be, and then you guys can take it however you want. So it is Down to Earth. It's me, Kristian Harloff, and Attack Peter. Let's get to it. Here we go. All right, thanks for joining us again on the show. It is Tuesday, UAP Tuesday here, and things are heating up. And to discuss this with me once again, following it as much as I have been, Attack Peter. What's up, buddy?
Dude, it's been a wild every single day there's an update in this story, and I can't even remember the last time we could say that.
It's a national story, right? It's a national story.
Global at this point. There's global
right,
stuff. It's crazy, dude.
Right, it is. And it is everywhere. So what I had said yesterday on the video that I did, where I ultimately think this is going to go, it's going to go very Roswell-y, right? Or it's either, oh, see, we know exactly what it was. It was a bunch of kids in a Walmart parking lot putting projections up, and we found them. And those kids, you'll never see those kids ever. Who are they? We took care of it. Don't worry about it. It's everybody go back to business now. But I don't think it's going to be that easy this time to push it under the rug, because these things are being seen all over the place. But there's so many crazy theories, right? And you heard the one that everyone was sending to me going, be careful, look out. I'm sure this is true. And this one guy is like, I know what this is. This is the U.S. military, and there is a potential nuke on U.S. soil, and they're searching for it. And everybody bought into that and said, that's exactly what it is. And other people are like, oh, this is the scariest one. This is what it is. And then I had a friend, I said in the beginning in the intro, who said, look, I've talked to somebody who is actually part of a three-lettered organization, and they say this is what it is. And then right after I read that text, Ryan Graves is like, I just spoke to somebody inside of very close who says that's not the case. I tend to believe.
How did you feel in between those two moments? Because I feel like that's the human story in all this. If you're funneling information, you're probably riding this wave of dread.
Yeah, that's the Jack Bauer 24 story, right? And you're hoping that Jack Bauer's out there right now trying to figure it out, like on the riding on the back of one of these drones to figure out exactly what it is. But I don't know. Ryan Graves is pretty locked into this stuff, and he's also seems to me a guy that is not going to tweet something out like that if it's like, look, are you 100% sure that this is not what it is? Because if someone says no, it's a possibility that's what it is. I can't feel like he would be that irresponsible to say that's not what this is. So I tend to believe him.
Yeah, it's reassuring. I feel like he's a pretty credible person. So that's good. It really sucks to be clued into this so much at a time like this, because you are, well, at least I personally feel like I'm doing this all day with the information that comes in. And then part of me just gets frustrated with not only the, expected, distraction from the government, right? Just like, it's, I mean, you don't have to have 3 brain cells to like look at that and go, this is just BS.
Right.
And I feel like that's really the big theme of this story until it evolves into something else, which it could very quickly. But the theme right now is people should remember, like, at a moment like this, when you're freaking out and you're bummed out, there is not like some all father in the government who's going to save everybody. That's what sucks, because you can't trust that they're even going to be honest with people. And I'm torn between whether you would want, if it's something like the nukes story, I'm torn between how you would want to tell people. But the reality is, if something goes wrong and you didn't give people a chance to evade or escape, that's horrifying.
Well, that's like all of this. That's like any one of these, well, except the one that we're really going to get into today, that we're going to dive into, the information that this guy sent to me. But all the other stuff, what you just said is 100% accurate, right? If you're like, no, well, we can't say anything anybody about that. We're searching for these things. We don't want, it's right before Christmas time. We don't want people trying to get out of the cities, and then it's packed up highways, and it makes it worse for, you can understand the logic behind that. But then, like you just said, but then it turns out you had the opportunity to get people out and you didn't. Like that is, I mean, look at what happens when there's like a storm. You know, when
it's beyond the UAP point at this point. You know, that's what the funny thing about this is like, whatever it ends up being, it's beyond now just the fascinating curiosity with, you know, our role in the universe and what else is out there. Now it unfortunately brings the whole story down to a very human level of either incompetence or, you know, like deception or both. And I just hope people remember this, like, who are paying a close attention to it, that it happens in every administration. It can happen with any party in charge. And it's unfortunately like why I've been saying every time I'm on your show that real disclosure is going to happen at a grassroots level. It's going to happen from the bottom up, not the top down. And if you're the guy who messaged you is to be believed, I guess we might be in the middle of it, you know?
Yeah, which we'll get into in a bit. But I want to talk about the other things that have been happening kind of leading up to it, is that you've got so many different people waiting for answers. There's so many frustrated senators, so many frustrated people just in general in the government going, what it is, we're getting no answers. And it's coming from both parties that are getting, it's not just Republicans getting pissed off at the Biden administration. They're being the most vocal about it, but everybody's like, what are we doing here? What are we talking? What is this? You got to tell them. Chuck Schumer is going, we don't know what it is. We're not sure what it is. And the guy yesterday, I don't know if you saw the video when Chuck Schumer was talking. There's this one guy clearly in the UAP community who was like, "Hey, you're the one that put forward the UAPDA thing, and so you would call this UAP, right?" And Chuck Schumer was like, "We can't call it UAP just yet." He's like, "Because we don't know what it is." And the guy goes, "Well, that's unidentified, so you can call it a UAP."
I thought that was super telling.
Yeah,
meaning like that in Chuck Schumer's mind, UAP doesn't mean unidentified. UAP means identified as NHI or something else.
Right.
And because that was his like knee-jerk reaction. And so, you know, the guy saying, you know, you would call this UAP, right? It was a perfect question. I don't even know if
he was right.
Yeah, I know, but it was a perfect, like, strategic question, whether it was intended or not. He basically got Chuck Schumer to have a Freudian slip and tell you that when he says UAP, he means identified.
Right. Well, because he was like, the guy's like, he kept trying to pressure him. He's like, well, what about this? Can you say it's this? Can you say it's that? And he's like, let other people ask questions, sir. It was hilarious. But Chuck Schumer has no idea. He's like, we don't know what it is. But the one thing that keeps saying, and this is, again, coupling it what we just said about Ryan Graves and everything else too. They said, "Is this U.S. military?" And his face when he's asked, like, "No, this isn't U.S. military." He's like, "We would have been told for sure," because that's the whole thing, right? Yes, there are certain people that could be lying to you about it, but if the senators start asking and Congress people start asking about what's happening, and you lie to them about this, that's really going to come back to get you. And maybe, well, what do they care? They're out the door anyway in January. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like that's what I'm saying. Like, there's not a good option. Like, have you charted all the potential options here? Like, there really isn't a great option. The best scenario, like, you could hope for, is that, I just don't even believe this is possible. It's just like, it's hobbyists at writ large. Like, you'll find out there's some 4chan message board in the dark web where they're like, let's have a global month of freaking everybody out. It's just, I don't buy that. And so, like, that's the best case scenarios. It's incompetence. The worst case scenarios, they know what it is, they don't tell us. It's another government, they don't want to say it. But then, I don't know, man. I just feel like it's too much at a fever pitch. Usually the senators and congressmen don't get like this
unless it's something very legitimate and they're willing to just like throw decorum out the window and go to town, or they're grandstanding and it's like a staged thing of some kind. And so either one is terrible.
Grandstanding and a stage thing would be around the holidays would be just absolutely awful.
Unless it's something to like, like a December surprise for Trump. Like, let's make a big mess for him to clean up. I just can't believe that, though. It's too orchestrated. I don't know, man.
You never put anything behind anybody's capable of anything, right?
Yeah.
Totally. So, but I don't know. I just think that this is just to them. Hey, I got an idea for for the next month. Why don't we just send up a whole bunch of drones and terrorize not only New Jersey but Virginia, I think North Carolina. There are a lot of other places that these things have been seen now. So I don't know.
I mean, we have weird stuff in our history, man. Like we have Gulf of Tonkin. You have the Reichstag fire. Like there's examples of like what are called false flag events. And one of my thoughts the other day was that if this was some NHI thing and the people in charge don't want, like, let's say here's a scenario that there's an NHI presence suddenly, like maybe more than usual. Like if I'm an interested party, I would say send up 5 billion drones up in the sky right now so people can't make sense of what's what.
Right.
And then we can point out when they think they saw an orb of light, we go, no, it was a plane over there. You know what I mean? So like, I don't know. It just has me like that right now.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that that's ultimately going to be the way that they try they're going to try to do the 70-year thing, right? Like it's like, oh, we have an explanation for it, and it was this, and whatever the explanation is, I think it's going to be a complete lie. I don't think. I mean, unless someone else brings it to light. But let me first play Michael Shellenberger, who's been really in the thick of this stuff recently. He's the one who broke the story about Immaculate Constellation. He testified at the last hearing. So he was on the news, and this is what he said. Here, check this out.
You have the president-elect and military base commanders all saying that the Biden administration is not telling the truth. In fact, we had Mayorkas and Kirby on Thursday and Friday both claim that there was no reported or confirmed drone sightings over military bases. It's been widely reported. There was a major investigation in the Wall Street Journal for many months, actually for many years, of drones being over military bases. They then said today, Kirby in that same comment, he said that they evaluated 5,000 cases over the last few days. It's inconceivable to me that they interviewed 5,000 people to figure out where they were standing, what time of day, where they were looking to be able to dismiss all of these cases. Look, people do make mistakes. I think there's been a lot of mistaken sightings, without question, maybe a vast majority of them. But I mean, we obtained the conference call between the White House and New Jersey mayors today. The mayors are livid. One of them got up there and said, I had 2 automobile-sized drones hovering over my house, and they're making a lot of noises as opposed to a jet plane a very long distance away. So, I think it's a remarkable situation to have Trump demanding this. I think we can count on some transparency now.
Okay, so then you get, obviously the frustration there from Shellenberger. And Peter, I did tell you, I think that he's 100% right, though, where it's like, what are you talking about? That you don't have, that there hasn't been, are you being specific that maybe over the last couple of days there wasn't something on a military base? You're saying in general these things haven't been seen? We know that they have been, especially the people who've been reporting on it. As he just said, it's been documented and there's been investigations on it. I definitely don't think the current administration is saying everything that they know for sure. There's a lot of things that they're not letting out of the bag here. And the question is, like, why, right? And it goes back to either that initial thing, the really scary one, or the other side of it is, like, what could it be that you don't want to tell us yet, and who's telling you not to tell us in general, right? So this is something that News Nation reported on a statement that the administration of the White House said, and here's that story.
I want to tell you what Kirby told us moments ago, and he said, quote, the sightings to date include a combination of lawful commercial drones, hobbyist drones, and law enforcement drones, as well as manned fixed-wing aircraft, helicopters, and even stars that were mistakenly reported as drones. He goes on to say, we have not identified anything anomalous or any national security or public safety risk over the civilian airspace in New Jersey and or in other states in the Northeast.
You know what I think at this point? I think that if it's like let's go the thing that you and I want it to be, right? Let's say that there's finally NHI flying around that have said, "Hey, here we are. What do you got? All right, everybody, we're easing you into it. This is what it is." And the administration's gonna like, yeah, they do this every once in a while. They're gonna go away. We'll say what it is. Hey, have Kirby go out there and say that it's man-made drones. It's this, it's that, and then we'll say, it was a star, and then it just goes away, like we did with Roswell.
I 100% think that that's one of the things that they're discussing right now, and that's the only way a human being can look at Kirby and digest what he's doing. Is like, you're like, okay, this guy is literally just bald face or like looking at you right in the face and lying directly to the people of this country. And it is so wild, but that's the only reason you would do that, or you would think that's a viable option. I don't know if you saw, I just sent you a link. And I just saw this on X right now.
Okay.
Lou Elizondo just tweeted 4 hours ago a link, to the Daily Mail article on John Kirby talking about this, the new update. And his tweet is pretty, or is that whatever it's called in the tweet, is pretty interesting. He just writes, "John, did you forget your oath to the American people? Seriously? I can't believe you are doubling down on this."
Yeah, I see that.
Pretty rad. Like, hey, you know what, man? Like, that's what I want Lou Elizondo doing, frankly.
He says,
like, if you,
this is, I guess this is the article itself, what they said. But so Lou's pretty much going, stop this. You tell it.
But that's the first time I've seen, maybe someone else has seen other examples of this. It's the first time I've seen him point to a individual in the government and say, this person is full of crap right here, because that's indirectly he's saying what he knows it's not, right? He's never been the kind of person to come out and say, I know for a fact it's this, and this. He just always doesn't, he always avoids doing that.
Right.
But in this case, he's literally telling you, this guy's full of it. So all we have to do is listen to John Kirby to know what it's not at this point.
And I'll tell you, so the first you mentioned earlier, and I think you're 100% right, that if they are lying about the fact that, let's say that is this U.S. military trying to sniff out for hazardous materials, right? And they're not telling people that, and something happens, well, that is going to be catastrophic for them in general, not to mention the obvious catastrophic part of it. If it is foreign and they have definitively said not foreign, it turns out it can be. Again, you lied to us. That was asked various amounts of times, and you said definitively there is no truth to that. Remember, those are your words. So now you've been caught twice inside of that. The third one, and the one that you could see making the most sense at this point, is if it is anomalous. They say it's not, but let's say it is, and it turns out to be NHI. It's the one that they can hope for, that it goes away on its own and they can explain it as something else that they can't, that no one can. The other two I just mentioned to you, those two scenarios happen. You don't get out of that lie. You can't get out of that lie. This lie you can get out of if these things go away.
I don't know if you remember, but one time we talked about it here, that I had this theory that if the government has finally decided to go along with slow, controlled disclosure, right, the Gary Nolan route, is they would have to pretend that they're discovering it alongside with the people. And so it would make sense that you would have events like this where they're like, gee, gosh, my goodness, right? That's the John Kirby. Right. I fucking hate when he says my goodness. Yeah. But my goodness, like, this is weird, wild stuff. So
it's like what I did this morning with the Elf on the Shelf. I did a
right. Oh my dude.
So I did there's two things I did.
That's literally this.
I left the freaking thing in the wrong spot, and then when my daughter wasn't looking, I did a quick jump and put it, and I was like with her, and she goes, "Dad, it moved." I'm like, what? Oh my God, how did that happen? And like, so that's ultimately what you're saying. It's like, what are you talking? Whoa, we didn't know that. That's crazy.
That's literally it. Yeah. You nailed it, dude. That's literally what they think of us as little kids who don't know any better.
Right.
And they're going to use nothing more impressive than elf on a shelf tactics with the American people and the people of the world who are paying attention to this. And that's why, I mean, the best people will just be like, the best you can hope that people in this country will do is just be like, they're full of it.
Right.
But the problem is, man, and this kind of like permeates through other parts of our culture, is the reason why you have so many disaffected people who are like not even slightly moved by the unaliving of that CEO is that, you know, you've completely evaporated the trust people have in these institutions. You know, we have a situation now where people can document these transgressions every single day. The memory span of people is going to get better because some people are literally logging this every day like you are with this topic. You know, you're not going to be able to just, you know, pretend this never happened. It's just too much.
Right. And well,
people
here's the other side of it. Let's say that, again, it is NHI, right? And they're hoping for it to go away. What happens if it happens again? Because the question is how much, because they have more information. They have more information of what it is from the last 60, 70, 80 years. They have information of what it could be. As where you and I have no clue, we can speculate, right? But there are people that behind closed doors can probably say, hey, we know with classified documents that this particular thing happened in 1981 over blah, blah, blah. This is exactly the same thing, and we are confident that it is X, right? We won't know that stuff, but they do. They have that kind of information. But how do we know that X isn't going to happen again in July?
Well, that's why I'm saying, like, if their best plan, their best strategy is to hope for something, it's bizarre. It's like a defeated titan, the federal government or the institution. So it's just bizarre to me, man. Like I still think that there's probably an NHI component to this, and that it might be something like we're saying, like they want to reveal themselves to some degree, and then, you know, to mitigate that, you and your special interest groups send everything you got into the sky, including advanced drones that can do things that we don't really know about, whether that's, you know, jam, you know, or mess up with tracking software, maybe perform strange maneuvers that we don't expect drones to perform. In other words, like, you bring out your advanced tech to mask the fact that there's actual NHI in the sky, and then later you can honestly say, hey, what people are seeing out there's regular planes, which I believe is true.
Yeah.
There's star systems. I believe that's true too. There's, you know, maybe there are actual hobbyist drones. I believe all that is included, and that a lot of what's being reported is mixed in. But that way you gaslight people and say, oh, they're just talking about these things, and they never talk about that weird ass orb or whatever it is.
Well, yeah, and that's true. And so by the time this episode comes out, because I'm probably going to wind up getting the episode out a little later tonight, maybe earlier, but by the time it comes out, this will have already happened. So check this out.
Today's briefing is planned for 2 p.m. Eastern time and will include testimony by the FBI and the CIA.
Quick, but there's a briefing today at 2 p.m. That's the FBI, CIA. So if it's just a bunch, why are they being briefed, and why are they having a whole thing? If what's his face, G is saying that, hey, we know what all this stuff is. It's just man-made. It's all these other things. It's nothing. Then why are they being briefed in? Why are they having this whole thing, this closed-door meeting, that it's getting really serious?
And why now?
And why now?
Wouldn't that be something you would do much sooner?
Right. So what is that? That is not. It's like Kirby is lying through his teeth right now, through his teeth, and it's like, what? Don't do press conferences. You just don't. Hey, they want you to speak. I'm not until the meeting's done. I'm not doing it. I will not go out there and fully lie to people again. But your soul is gone. It's just because you're like, oh, well, I don't know what to do. I'm gonna say this. Okay.
That's what happens. That's why this position is so powerful and important. It's because you can just change the guy out. You know, like, and you notice, like, every administration, I mean, like, Trump had a ton of people changed out speaking to the press. But eventually you just have, once people lose trust in the person, you put in a new person, and then people, like, calm down a little bit. I hope that doesn't happen this time, man. I hope people start to say, if you see someone speaking in that position, you're always skeptical. Your ears are always perked up to see what's really being said, because that's the problem, man. Like, you're not going to build trust back without that. I think it's going to take a long time to build that trust back.
I agree. Look, okay, so we have a lot more to talk about. I wanted to discuss go back to what we talked about with there are officials coming out and saying the report that these things are looking for something, right? So we have people are talking on Good Day New York, talking about that. And then I'm going to get into the thing that was sent to me. Before we do that, I wanted to let you guys know and thank you guys for being part of this show and keeping us going. We started this channel in like March. We're already approaching about 40,000 subscribers, so thank you for that. You guys are always keeping us going, whether you're joining a membership, and I try to give you guys something back too. I have great sponsors for you today, so you can get something for the holidays. Tile 360, which is an absolute must. You should have it. I know Peter loves it. And then Via, which is, I've been swearing by it. So I'll tell you about both of those right now. Okay, it's time for me to gush over Via. It's that time of the show. This holiday season, you have to unwind, recharge with Via. It doesn't matter if you're enjoying a quiet evening at home or embracing the festive cheer. Via's premium THC and THC-free gummies will help you find your perfect holiday balance. They are renowned for their award-winning THC and THC-free gummies, THC flower, soothing topicals, and calming drops. They're all crafted with the highest quality hemp sourced from trusted, independently owned American farms. Best part, legally shipped to nearly all states in the U.S. in discreet packaging directly to your door with a worry-free guarantee. No medical card required. If you've been following me, you've heard me raving about Via whenever I can. I love Via. Favorite one? Probably the sleep one, the dreams one, right there. I love it. It's great. It's so convenient. It's made in the USA. It's award-winning service, quality ingredients. It's affordable, accessible. This holiday season, gift yourself some peace of mind. If you are 21 and over, you check out the link to Via in our description. You use that code DTE. You receive 15% off, and then you're going to purchase. You're going to ask you where you heard about them. Well, you support our show, and you tell them that we sent you. This holiday season, enhance your everyday with Via. They are the best. How are you traveling? You traveling on a train? You traveling on a plane? You traveling in a car with your family? What are you doing for the holidays? You're doing something. And what you don't want to do is be stressed out because you lost something. I lose my keys all the time. I used to lose my keys all the time. And that is why I want to tell you guys about Life 360's tile trackers. I absolutely love it. There's so much that every time I told somebody, I was like, oh yeah, we have tile on the show now. They're like, I love tile. Everybody loves tile. Why? Because you don't have to worry about the holiday stress anymore. You can easily find your family's lost or your stolen stuff. Just ring your tile when something goes missing or track down this location on the map. That simple. What I really love is you get a really solid peace of mind. Why? It is the first and only tracker with an SOS button. Just triple press the button in the center of the tile device to discreetly send an SOS alert to everyone in your Life 360 circle. And the other thing is, unlike competitors, they won't alert thieves to its presence via notifications. I have so many of these things now because whether it's phones, keys, whatever it might be, I have it all on lockdown because of tile. So, family-proof your family with Life 360's tile trackers. You got to visit tile.com and use our code DTE. Why would you do that? Because you get 15% off. It's that easy. Tile.com. Use that code DTE. You will never go back. All right, thank you to both Via and to Tile. Could not recommend them higher. Love them. Absolutely love them. So, get the links. They're in the descriptions. Go in and check it out. All right, Peter, before we move to the potential thing that I was sent, let's bring up this interview from Good Day New York. Okay, this is from UAP James, who posts this out. This is the New Jersey mayor who says the drones are likely U.S. government assets looking for something. So let's check this out.
Information has not been forthcoming, and it's this lack of transparency, in my opinion, that's doing nothing but fueling conspiracy theories online.
Do you have any idea what it could be, or which side it could be, where it's coming from?
Yeah, I can tell you what it's not. We know for a fact it's not little green men, and more than likely it's not a foreign adversary, because they would be able to figure out how to turn off the blinking lights. These drones are huge. We had a mayor yesterday on the call with the White House telling them that he had 6-foot drones hovering over his house, yet they continue to tell us we don't know what we're talking about. It's misidentification. Certainly there's some misidentification probably going on, but I could assure you that we are seeing drones in New Jersey all over the place.
All right, so Bethany Frankel, I know she's not like, the New York Times, but she says that she has like some kind of contact at the Pentagon and that it has something to do with radioactive material in New Jersey. What are you hearing?
So here's what I know. I know that we were told by our state police that we have assets over our critical infrastructure. Now, depending on your point of view, that's either concerning or comforting. I think it's comforting because it's probably us listening and watching. We also know that we have drones that are flying in a grid-like pattern. In my opinion, they're looking for something. What might they be looking for? Well, potentially, we're aware of a threat that came in through Port Newark. Maybe that's radioactive material. There was and there is an alert that's out right now that radioactive material in New Jersey has gone missing on December 2nd. It was a shipment. It arrived at its destination. The container was damaged and was empty. So
okay,
potentially
wait,
we're looking
stop
for
right
that.
there, Mayor, because that's very important information. And that came from a credible source.
That came from the U.S. government.
And so it's missing?
Missing.
And they think it's in New Jersey, or it could be anywhere?
It was lost in New Jersey, in transit. And again, this is just an example of what I think that we're sniffing for. I think we do have the assets that can go up and fly around and sniff things, which is why we're not seeing the uptick we used to see in Belleville anymore. It's kind of moving, but we're seeing alerts that it's happening now in Pennsylvania.
And that's right about the time that the drone sightings began, right?
Yeah, drone sightings began about 4 weeks ago.
Okay, so when you take a look at this, if this information is indeed credible, why wouldn't the government say, it's us?
That's the crazy part about this. We've gotten very little information. Even yesterday on that call with the White House, literally mayors were told, you guys are seeing things. There's no credibility to this. We have one mayor, like I said, had drones over his house. I mean, we're no longer going to stand for not hearing the truth. I mean, our state government is failing us. They're not getting the answers from the federal government. And even though yesterday they told us that there's nothing to see here, today there's a top secret briefing going on in Congress. Well, what are they being told that we weren't told yesterday?
Real quick, did you know yesterday when you were on that call about this missing radioactive activity or merchandise, or did you know that this morning after the call?
I was made aware of it yesterday morning. I did raise my hand. We weren't allowed to speak. I did raise my hand, was not called on to get that question answered.
So apparently it is concerning. Even the president-elect, who I'm sure gets some kind of briefings on things, he says he's not going to his home in Bedminster, right?
Yeah, I listened to him yesterday. He no doubt gets the same exact briefings that President Biden gets. He says our government knows. He says our president knows. And he also ended with saying, I'm not going to be in New Jersey this weekend.
So what do you want to know? What do you want the government to tell you and the general public?
I want them to be clear with us. I want transparency. I want them to say these are our assets. There's no need to concern about what's flying. The question should no longer be who's flying these drones or who owns them. It should be what they're looking for. Tell us they're ours. Tell us that they're protecting us, and tell us what the threat is.
All right, Peter. So you watch that clip and you hear. I mean, you go back to that. And I'm not as, even though, like I said, we talked about Ryan Graves, to everybody else who said, no, I'm hearing that that's not the case at all. This guy makes some points that it's like, yeah, well, we know for sure that there were actually activities that were missing and that people are looking for it. And the fact that Trump is briefed on stuff and he's like, I'm not going to New Jersey this weekend. I'll tell you that. So that is the kind of things that make you go, okay. Head scratching, but I think he says it right. It's like, look, if you're going to have your meetings today, there's no more of this. Well, you're seeing things. No, it's nothing. Clearly it's not, because you're having meetings about it. And if you're having meetings about it, what is it? Tell us. And I think that those reporters or I guess those hosts for the morning show asked the right questions. I think that the mayor gave some really good answers too. But what did you think of that clip?
I mean, it's where my head's at personally, that this is like some kind of security thing, tracking whatever it is, that's some kind of radioactive material, which is like seriously alarming.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it does make sense, right? It would make sense why the drones are, like you said, like kind of like appearing in a caravan almost, like they just move in a group. And but I don't think that's the whole story, man. I hate to say it. Like, I feel like that is something that's happening, and that there's also some weird stuff that we can't explain, unless those weird orbs that look like blown out triangles. I don't know if you've seen some of those, right? Like they're just like big.
Yeah.
Like the one Chris Bledsoe posted.
Right.
Man, that needs an explanation too, because that does not look like a drone to me. And if it is, it's what Trump's talked about, that we have like this kind of crazy tech that no one even knows about. Maybe that's what it is, but
it could be.
Otherwise, this guy is exactly where my head is at.
And I think that that's the most kind of, out of all the theories, it is the one that could make the most sense, right? Because I think he even said it, as far as foreign goes, shutting, those things would be shot out of the sky.
Shot out of the sky.
So like for that many days, like if it's like, hey, this is foreign. It is. Well, what are they doing up there? We don't know. Well, how long?
Way. There's no way.
Just let them fly around Jersey. They'll do whatever they'll go away. It's like, no, you would get them out of the sky. It more likely that it's like, okay, they're looking for stuff, but you got to stop lying to people about it if that's the case. Now let's dive into the thing that I got yesterday, right? I was at a movie screening last night. And by the way, before I even get into that, I should tell people that the program is now out.
Yeah, I'm going to watch today.
Yeah, so James Fox's movie, The Program, is out, covering the reverse engineering program and everything else, kind of leading up to hearings and everything else too. He kind of dives deep. So
you finished it?
I finished it before I interviewed him. So
right.
He came on the show, and my opinion of it is the same thing that he said outright. This is a great. You are not gonna learn anything new. What I did do yesterday was I told my friend David, I said, look, because he's been curious and asking questions about it, but he's not kind of filled in at all. I said, watch this movie. Check this out.
It's a good starting point.
It's a great starting point, and it's good to get the mainstream audience kind of into it. And like, because let's say that these things turn out that the government goes, we can't hide this anymore, and we have to tell people. People are going to start renting that movie pretty quick. I'll tell you that. So that's a movie that I would check out. Okay, so I'm at this screening last night, and I get a message from, and I've been getting a lot of these like emails, and I would ask people if they're going to email, make sure that you use the UAP Tuesday Gmail, because I don't check any other emails stuff. When I do see them come in, I delete them. If they're not on the UAP Tuesday ones, I delete them, because like if they pop in through other email address, whether it's other pop culture stuff or other things, do not email me at other places. Please email me at that UAP. It's easy to keep it all together, and I know exactly what it's looking for. So what I did get, though, this was on Facebook, because I'm getting all these emails about drones, what they could be, what people think they are, and then Facebook messages. I just randomly checked last night, and there was like 30 of them, all about the drones. So this one came in, and I don't know why, but I was curious about it, and the message started with, and I can tell you, I don't want to. I also don't want to give the guy's name, because I don't know if he wants. He wants to be out there. But what I will say is the first thing that he said, because I was like, I'll normally I'll do my own research on it, and I don't really, because you don't know who's saying what, and I still don't know. I don't know how legit the guy is or not. But so what he started with was, do you want to know what the drones are?
He started like that?
Yeah. And I said, no one knows. To which he responded, I do. And I said, and he asked me what I thought they were, and I said it could be I just said that Graves doesn't think that they're looking for radiation, and to which this gentleman said the answer's pretty easy, and people have issues facing the facts. So he said that they can't be detected on radar. They are cold objects. The FBI hasn't shown one close-up picture or video to nor the public. There hasn't been an order to shoot them down. They come in different shapes, different sizes. They are all over the world and not the USA. All that is fact right now, right, Peter?
Yeah, listen.
Yeah. No one has confirmed that they are drones. Also true. And then asking, what do you think that they are? To which he says, I believe that the answers are in front of our eyes. And then he sent me videos. So
I was checking his Facebook while you were talking real quick. So I looked him up.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say anything, but it's good context.
Okay. And then it says, not really what I think, it's what I know they are and why they are here. And then I'll let you, and he said, I want you to post the videos. And so he said, listen to what the lady in the second video says. Now, this particular person who sent these said that they've contacted law agencies, mayors, governors, etc., and most of them know, but they are too scared to open their mouths. And that's why this is just one of the videos.
This is crazy.
Yeah. So that's one of I don't know where that is.
I wish I could understand like the spatial context.
Yeah. Like where's that? Where are they filming that?
Yeah, because I was at Comic Con and when they did the orbs presentation, I now believe that the orbs, the drone presentation, the drones can look like anything in the grouping.
Yeah.
But that's a wild one, man. And there's some versions of this online that I've seen that definitely feel like they're moving in that orb shape.
Yeah.
It's magic to me until it's technology that I understand.
Right.
Let's put it that way.
Right. So you can check that out still.
But the blinking, I don't like.
I don't like the blinking.
I don't like the blinking because I don't associate the blinking with anything advanced. Sorry. Like the blinking to me makes me think this is some kind of drone or jet or whatever it is that has, maybe, let's give them credit, maybe it's got some interesting cloaking on it that projects that kind of like strange iridescence.
You can't hear it.
No.
But there's a sound, and I don't know if the sound that is, that's a sound, and that doesn't sound like the non-sound that traditionally UAPs have. So, but okay, so that's that. That's I don't know.
This is the one you sent me?
This video that I sent, yeah, I sent you this video, and then now it's kind of taken off, and it kind of moved. It kind of moves. Yeah. It was like a blob, and then it looked like it was a. But that was what was so strange about that, right? Yeah. That whole thing, it started out looking like a blob, and then it turned out looking like a machine. So check this out. So
this one, by the way, this one's hilarious. When I first watched this one,
there's one up there. I'm at the golf course.
This is the golf course.
There's another one over there. These are UAPs, UFOs, whatever you want to call them. They're all over our skies. Okay. Look, here it is. This is the source of light that always finds me.
So this, the source always finds me.
This is crazy.
It keeps finding me everywhere. Look at that. It stands right there and it just starts to flash. Watch. Watch this. It's really, really, really bright.
Is she still talking?
Yeah.
Either shining a spotlight, it looks like a flashlight in the sky.
It looks like a flashlight in the sky. Is what she
and
said.
there is another orb up there. You see it?
Like an orb right next to it.
Right
see
there.
It?
So
see
there's
it?
usually another drone or spacecraft.
This is the one that I thought was in Florida.
That's
Maybe.
next to it. I don't know. It's like they're feeding off of each other. Okay, I got the sprinklers. Here we are.
Sprinklers.
Sprinklers are here. Okay, you see it? You see how it goes?
Yeah, like it does it. Like
see how it goes?
These things like come close
and
to
then
it, and
becomes
then it takes
a
off.
spacecraft or aircraft or whatever you want to call it, UAP. It transforms into a craft.
You said it transforms into a
Right in front of
craft.
my eyes.
I know, that's so weird, man. Isn't it suck that like we can't even look at this and just be mind blown about it? Because I always am skeptical that some effects happen.
Yeah.
You know what's really funny, dude? When I was watching this on my phone when you sent it to me this morning, at first it was all thumbs up in the corner and a few hearts.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was blue and red fucking orbs. And I'm like, whoa, this is the craziest one yet.
They're not really taking this serious.
Now look at that thing flying away. Look at it. Now it's flying away. That ball of light. That's really weird.
This video, if legit, is pretty damn.
Like that was crazy. Like that was like a ball of light, and then if it is real, that ball of light then turned into a ship.
Yes, I'm saying it's like it was aware that it was being watched, and they decided to morph into a standard. See, that's what I'm. Dude, that's the one thing that would blow my mind.
Hold on, let's see what she's saying here. Hold on a second.
Some kind. It also feels like it has some kind of cloaking. It looks like an airplane now.
So it looks like an airplane now.
I'm gonna try to catch it. Okay, here we go. That was that light. That's the same one. It looks like an airplane and it sounds like an airplane. But it all started out as like a big ball of light. Okay, this is live. I'm live streaming this, Facebook.
So how did that not get picked up?
I'm a conspiracy theorist. All right, let's see if we find something else.
She said it's live up here. Too. It's not like
There's another one over here.
3 days ago.
Yeah.
Here we go. Here we go. Bam.
Another one.
Okay, I'm gonna get wet again. This is the triangular one. This is the one that has 4 lights.
That's the one that they've seen in Jersey. It looked like it.
Ah. Okay, where did it go? Yeah, the water is... Sorry about that. There's sprinklers on here. Okay, so this is a triangular one.
See, that looks like the thing that was been
Has
flying around
4
Jersey.
distinct lights.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
This one hovers.
Yeah.
Goes from orb to
hovers.
aircraft to drone.
These
in
are
its
all
shapes.
over, guys. They're all over Plantation. They're all over Broward County.
Plantation, Broward County. Yeah.
That's
There's another one.
That's right by me.
Here.
It's like 45 minutes away.
Yeah.
These are not stars.
I should have gone
at
out and looked
all.
last night.
Okay, here's another one over here.
I mean, this video.
Yeah.
I'm so surprised this one hasn't been out more. This video.
Is that thing? Is that her
Like I
camera
said, they're
moving? Or
not
that's the thing
stars.
moving?
These are all crafts. They're all crafts. They're hovering above our cities, and people are not even noticing that these have invaded our skies.
It's good to have those
They're going business
trees
as
and
usual
in
because it's
the
Christmas,
frame to
and
understand
this
the
is the
movement.
best time to do something like this when people
Okay, so it's
they line up like that.
the most.
Away. All right, just
This
pay
that li- that
attention
big-
to what it does.
There it is.
Okay.
This is not what a normal aircraft does, guys. This is very, very, very odd. Again, this is December 10th, Tuesday, December 10th. I'm live streaming on Facebook. Jacaranda
That's crazy, man.
Golf Course in Plantation, Florida. Okay, look at what it does. Look at what it does. They're both. One is smaller, one is larger.
Is that the thing moving, or is
Yeah.
that
both
camera?
emitting some
it's-
type
and
of
it-
energy?
See, it's emitting an energy
This is a light source,
light source.
and you will see
Well, that's what I'm saying.
how
It feels
in
like some
real
kind
time
of
it
like if you
morphs
wanted to
into
try to
a
explain it
craft.
away. I don't know if she's still
I kid
talking.
you
There
not.
she is.
Now it's
She is.
moving, so I gotta.
Sorry.
Okay, it's moving. I'm gonna try to stand as still as
it's
possible.
moving.
The smaller craft moved. I believe the smaller craft is a triangular craft,
She
and
does
the
a
larger
triangular
one is the
craft.
one that looks like a plane. Okay, guys, this is real time live streaming. Drones,
It's like splitting cells. It's so
UAP,
weird.
UFO,
Yeah.
call them whatever you want. This is not normal. And by the way, the FAA clears.
The FAA.
There's no airplanes flying right now
No airplanes flying around.
in
Right
the greater Plantation area.
They
Look
clearly know
how
about
it
it.
takes flight.
Look at that thing.
That one takes flight in the shape of an airplane. That one takes flight
I don't
in
understand, man. I also don't understand why you would,
Eventually, well,
if
it's
you
still
had
looking
this
like
tech,
an
why
orb.
you would use this tech for
Right.
whatever you're looking for.
Right.
Okay, so let's see how big this one gets. I
Yeah,
believe
right.
this
So like
has
you
some
have
kind of
you have light
technology
that
it
shifts into
projects
other
some kind
things.
of holographic
This is how you
image of an
debut it?
Airplane.
Crazy.
I know I sound crazy, but I've seen these now for 5 days. 5 days,
She's live streaming this shit.
and they
though.
have gone everywhere. They're
That's the
everywhere
best
I
thing.
go.
Yes.
Everywhere
That's the
I go,
best
they
thing.
show up.
Yeah. That's not
And I
like.
feel
So
like
they're not just in Plantation.
if people get the opportunity to see something like this, live
There it
stream
is.
it. Dude.
Yeah.
Just at the end of the
Tell
live
me if
stream,
that's
don't
an
make the mistakes that I
airplane,
do.
because don't think
Sometimes save the
airplanes or
video before you
helicopters
close the app.
or,
said- look at
regular drones do that.
But like it was like
Look
a
at how
ball of
fast
light,
that's going.
and now it's
That's
cooking.
going freaking
Nah, this
crazy
is
fast.
wild. This one's wild, and this one unfortunately puts a wrinkle in every
know,
other
this is like
video
about
of
5,000
people
feet.
saying it's just a plane, it's just a
Between
drone.
1,000
Like,
and
well,
5,000
How
feet.
so is this, I guess.
How come this hasn't been explored more? This video.
It's about the size of a car.
I don't know. 3 days.
Okay, let's see.
Plantation,
Let's see what else
Broward,
we
you don't
can
get a lot
find.
of credibility. To be
I
I
honest
can
with
do
you.
this
Dude.
for hours.
I mean, so she does this for a bit, and she kind of keeps going into it. But look, but it doesn't stop. Okay, so I wasn't able. That was the first time that I listened to it with sound. I haven't had an opportunity to listen to it sound, and it's pretty crazy. So
It's compelling.
Yeah, it is. So to which I said, I told him I couldn't hear where I was. I couldn't listen to it, and then so basically he just kind of summarized saying that the woman says that they follow me everywhere I go, not just here in the golf course. See how the orb turns into a craft, and that happens every 5 minutes. A new orb forms, and the orb transforms into a craft. You clearly saw that in that video, right? All the drones are actually made of light, and this is why there are no HD pics or videos of them. They have a shield. So he says that this is why they affect electric equipment. This is why there's no orders to shoot them down, and they have been given or will be given, because everyone will find out they're not made of matter, but they're made of light. And then, so also said, have you seen the one of these orbs that are There are hundreds of videos showing them, but people are not putting the two things together, the orbs and the crafts. Like, look at this thing from ABC News.
You know, when things like this are happening, it seems everyone starts to look up, like my crew and I have been here in Mendham recording this video that you're looking at right now. We have no idea what it is, if it's a natural phenomenon, because it could be, but this is why so many municipalities are now asking people to reach out and send their videos to them or to experts who might be able to sort out what they're seeing in the skies. But I guarantee there are so many people looking up and making those recordings because this mystery is one that needs to be solved. For now, we're live here in Mendham Borough. Tony Yates, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Lee's saying he's wondering whether or not that might be the moon, Tony, but you pointed out it's exactly the question people are asking. What is it?
No. Yeah, no, we're looking at the moon right now, and that's nowhere near the moon.
That looked similar to what that woman, that was like broad daylight. That woman that saw it at the golf course kind of looks similar to that, right?
It also looks like the Chris Bledsoe video, and I bring that up because I know people, look, myself included, it's a wild story he tells, so it's hard to know what to really sink your teeth into there. But that on ABC News, coupled with the fact that the reporter is clearly at the end looking up and talking about that she's basically seeing that and the moon simultaneously, so no confusion.
Right.
That to me is the best video in a long time.
Coupled with the golf one.
Yeah, but the point is that like even like a mainstream local news station is saying, what is that?
Right. So that Bledsoe one you mentioned, right? So this is from Bledsoe's Instagram. All right, so check that out. This is from Christopher Bledsoe's Instagram. And he said, this is on November 6th. That was recorded in 4K. The new knowledge is coming fast.
Dude, look at it.
Like, what is that? It's floating around in the sky. It looks like a light show or something, right? And then it's fairly similar to the two previous things that we just showed. The golf course thing and then the ABC News thing is yet another piece. So then
this is the problem I have. It's like these two things are happening simultaneously. It's hard for me to believe that if there are drones tracking radiation from like, misplaced, radioactive material or whatever it is, that's not the same as this, man. Like, and if it is, that's a big moment for our government admitting the technology we have.
Right.
That thing looks like the static electricity ball you used to put your hand on when you were a kid.
But how are we still not talking about, and we just kind of brushed over the fact that this woman's filming one of those things and then it turns into a drone?
No, dude, it's weird.
Like that's the question, is that it seems like, I think that it needs to be validated, because you can say, I can tell you right now, hey, Peter, you and I are live streaming right now. We're not. We're pre-taping. Now, I'm not calling the woman a liar, but I do think she was live streaming. But I think it needs to be validated that she was live streaming.
Yeah, you could technically doctor a video that looks like it's live streaming.
100% you could do that. No. So the question is it? And how come more people haven't seen that video? Because that's like, what's that? And then there's a lot more that that gentleman sent me that I just can't play all the stuff. But this is his, again, he says he knows. To me, it's still a theory, because until we all know, he says, to make it short, he believes these orbs are NHI and that they want to be seen. They want everyone to know about them, so we're able to communicate and learn. They believe that it is time, we are ready, and that not to freak people out, they can transform themselves into crafts that we recognize without being too scared. The more the government wants to talk about them, the more they will show up and make their presence known. So he tells me, now you know what these are. Why they won't show in radars, why they affect electric digital devices, why they can't be shot down or followed, why they're making their presence all over the world, why the FBI won't show or tell anything about them. They are praying they'll go away, but that won't happen. Hope you make a video out of these orbs and tell everybody what it is. So, listen, I don't know what to make of it all. It's like, this guy's fairly confident, clearly, but I'm not yet. I mean, because you look, he believes that this video that he sent us, this one from the golf course, 100% accurate, that it's real, that's actually what is also happening. Look, the footage is there's shit going on in that video. There's no doubt about it. But there's always someone going, in the same way that they're telling the mayor of New Jersey, that's not what you're actually seeing. You know, there's not a clear cut. It's like if I was sitting here with you right now and this angle that's on here right now, my head turned into a large slice of pizza in front of everybody, that like legit turned into pizza. Like, and I started shaking my head around. People would still say
AI,
CGI, and I'm like, no, it's pizza, and I'm probably not going to be here much longer because I'm trying to eat my own head.
That's it.
But either way, though, it's like clear footage. Though, even though if you have clear footage, the other one is like if I had a glass here and I dropped it and it broke. Okay, you just broke a glass. I could see it. It's broken. And you can pretty much tell that that's exactly what happened. I think that everything he wrote and what that woman said was what was going on in the video, but I don't know. But what he says at the end, though, is what gets me and what we made the point earlier, which is they want this to go away, right? And I said, well, what happens when it happens again? This guy is saying it's not gonna go away. Like they've basically said it's time for people to know about us now. Land on a lawn. You know what I mean?
I mean, there is a certain point. Yeah. I was wondering, I have to travel after the holidays for work, and I'm like, bro, am I going to be traveling through a drone field? Like, I really want to know at what point we feel like this has gone on to the point where it's like fully unnerving, because this is like the beginning of a great fiction sci-fi story.
Yes,
like the drones just show up. More show up.
It's
because leave.
Yes, and look, so what he said at the end there, right, was like that they have decided that it's time, right, and that they're easing us into it. Well, showing balls of light turning into machines is not easing us into anybody. You know what I mean? It's like that's like.
I love that you're the guy in the movie who's on the podcast appealing to the NHI, and talking. I'm like, listen, can you show up with something a little bit more compelling over here?
Do something else. It's like, come on. It's like, or it's the opposite. We're such schmucks. They're like, hey, Zim Zam, show them the trick. Which trick? Oh, you're gonna show them that the ball of light turns into a drone, and they'll know right away. Show them. We've been showing them for 30 days. They haven't told anybody anything. What do we do?
Like, all right, turn into a pizza.
Do the pizza trick. Do the pizza trick. Yeah, do the pizza trick. So I don't know. Fine. I've been asking you to do the pizza trick for the last 1,000 years. Let me do the pizza trick.
This is the thing that they respond to.
Yeah. So, but I don't know, man. It's like.
Where's the corridor crew, bro? This is what annoys me. Yeah. They made a big fuss with the jellyfish. Now, be out there, frontline corridor crew. I know you're watching. Go and break some of these down, man. Come on, we're waiting for you.
I'd like to see. I'm curious about that golf course video. I really am. That's the first time I had ever seen it, heard about it until, like I sent it to me. So I'm curious what people here think. What a show today.
Yeah, we did it.
And I think that we're probably going to be. Don't be surprised if I text you tomorrow or the next day.
I was going to say, no, any day we're on the hook now.
It really is. Like anything can happen. So put your thoughts out there, guys. Let me know, especially about the footage that we just showed and everything else, the theories. There's tons of theories out there. And what say you? Put your thoughts out there. Please let me know. Peter, where can they find you if they want to find you?
I'm everywhere online at Attack Peter. You can find me there. Working on some really cool stuff that you guys might dig. But I would just like to say, if the person who sent that information to Kristian has any more, information that could help us understand how he is he or she or they are so confident, I think that would be important.
Yeah, I mean, look, one of the things is that person also sent more follow-up videos. I just couldn't play all of them because if I played all the video, we'd be here for 3 hours. But there's other videos. Yeah, there's other videos that are talking about kind of the theory of that's what these things are. They emit this light. They do these certain things, and there's a bunch of different ones. So, that's what he's confident. When I said, so that's your theory. He said, it's not a theory. That's what I know they are. I can't make that statement yet. I'm glad that person could, but I couldn't do that. Yeah. So either way, I want to hear what people are thinking about certain videos, which the ones that we showed, the theories in general. Do you think we're going to get answers at all, or do you think they're going to sweep this thing under the rug? Thank you for joining us here today. Really appreciate it. Again, if you want to help the show out, you can always join. You can be a member if you want to do that. But if not, get yourself something for the holidays. Get one of our sponsors. The links are in the description. Thanks for being here. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Bye-bye.